Nosy,
Mr. Shepherd.
how are you?
I'm well, thanks. And yourself?
I'm well, thanks. Please introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay. I am Nozipho Mkhatshwa. If I can go back, I'm from Mpumalanga, here in Cape Town due to studies and now work. I think the most important thing is that I'm a child of God, born again. I love God so much and His people. And yeah, I'm a professional officer under Solid Waste, City of Cape Town. And my background is industrial engineering. So I guess that's me in brief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Before we were talking about your transition. It's a new opportunity for you, new spaces, new. But before we get to that, I just want to find out why did you choose industrial engineering?
Oh, interesting. So, I never chose industrial engineering.
Okay.
And I think I've watched some of the episodes on Stego podcast and people were
Sure.
saying, I did not choose this happened and
Yes.
whatnot. So I think it's the same case with me. My story is that, metric, you're excited, university, and I wanted to do electrical engineering, right? And there was this other lady from church. She inspired me. She was an electrical engineer. So I looked up to her and I was like, I want to do electrical engineering. And so I applied for that with my media results, right? And I was accepted. That was in UP and both UJ. Yeah. And then come year end, we write our exams. I did the most unfortunate thing that I was not supposed to do, in that, we met with ladies and we sat together in an area, and it turned out that did not produce good results. So now my results were a bit lower than the ones that were needed.
So you preferred working alone?
Yeah, and it's something that I only realized there, Yeah, so then now I am not accepted at these universities, and it's too late. It's at the beginning of the year. Now I have to gap the whole year. So I sat at home the entire year.
So it was that bad?
It was that bad, right?
Shame. Sorry for that.
It's okay. And
yeah,
really, I was so down that I just didn't want to do anything in that year. And then my father was like, no, see, at least do something. It's, and I was like, okay, do your driver's license at least, So then I did my driver's license. That was my achievement for that year.
Nice.
And then I applied, then I got accepted at CPUT, but I had applied for agriculture. Because interestingly enough, someone was like, okay, you know what, you are from Mpumalanga, we are good with agriculture, just apply, you'll be taken, come back, make money, and life is good.
Sure.
Because now I just want to go to university, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. So I applied for agriculture, got accepted, and then started, that was in Wellington, CPT Wellington. I was there for like 6 months, right? And I did, it was good.
So you actually went through with agriculture?
I did. And I didn't like it. So someone tells me that CPUT also has applications open, media. So you can try to apply there. And I'm like, cool. So comes media. So I did apply then, but only mechanical, industrial engineering, and I forgot that one. Mechatronics, were available. And I'm like, I don't know mechatronics, I don't know industrial engineering, I don't want mechanical.
Sure.
That's the only thing I know.
You're thinking probably you're going to fix cars.
Yes, obviously, that's what we know.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the stereotype that everyone, when they think mechanical engineering, they just think cars.
Yeah. So I'm like, just give me industrial engineering. I don't know what it is, but I'll figure it out along the way. So that's how I got to industrial engineering. And I just realized, actually, when I started doing it, I was like, actually, this is very interesting. So I think that's how I got into industrial engineering.
Checking back.
Yeah.
What is it that you didn't like about agriculture?
It was just not for me.
Okay.
I just didn't like it. I was not passionate. Like, you'd have to go to the garden and do farming, like plant and see vegetation.
Sure.
I mean, it's good, but it was just not what I was passionate about, what I didn't like. So I just no, I'm going to stop this. Funny enough, I got like 7 distinctions straight out in agriculture.
Okay.
But I was like, no, it's not for me. So I must just move. Yeah.
Well, that also speaks to your self-awareness as well.
Yes.
And the ability to actually just, this is not going to work. Let me just literally just come out.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing for a fairly young person to be able to do that and know what you want and say.
Yeah.
Then did you find love immediately for industrial engineering, or it had to develop itself?
I found love. It's like love at first sight type of a thing.
Okay, that's nice.
Because then I got there and then I realized, okay, so this is like engineering, business, all matched together. And I think it was just exciting. Even the syllabus itself, it was an interesting syllabus. And I think why I loved it, because it was something different from the norms, like from what we know, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, this is what you do, but this is something different, right? And the fact that it has a broader career, you can be anything and anywhere. So I think I was like, oh, awesome. Then I can, work in a bank if I want to. So I think that also, I just fell in love with it. And, there's those people who say, I feel like, I think there's people who say that I feel like industrial engineering was made for me, or I was made for industrial engineering. Okay. So it was that type of relationship. Yeah.
Can you please just explain to someone who's not familiar with what is industrial engineering, and maybe we can also get into the other scopes outside varsity, and all the things that you can be doing, and then maybe after that we can just get into your career after that.
Okay, so industrial engineering, it's engineering, right? And I think the most people, when you say I do industrial engineering, they're thinking, oh, so you're working at an industry or like a manufacturing industry. For them, it's like it's industrial based, right? But it's not that. So as I was saying, it's a measure between engineering and the business side of things. So what it focuses on improvement, continuous improvement, and making processes better, streamline processes, complex processes, and streamline them such that they are easier and better, saving money, focusing on the people. Economics are the people, working safely. So it's all that, if I may say. I don't know if that clarifies it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it does. Like you said, it's industrial engineering. It's the continuous improvement of businesses. You guys kind of like, if you look at processes. And I was just thinking of another process, but I was like, okay, it's going to take long for me to just try to explain all of it. But I think you did justice in terms of explaining what industrial engineering. I think maybe just going to the second point of the question is getting to work. What are the options that you have? What are the different avenues that you can get into? Is it, like you said, it's not only the manufacturing side, there's other avenues. Can you please just tell us what are those avenues, and then maybe we can get into how do you get those avenues and like that.
You can manufacturing. I think it's the foundation of it. I think for most they start in manufacturing, but you find an industrial engineer in the banking sector. You find an industrial engineer at the hospital. Any company really, any company that has a process. I believe that all companies have a process, right? So if there's a start and an end, you find an industrial engineer. So it can be anywhere, literally, the Air Force, wherever you find an industrial engineer. So that's how broad it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you maybe before we get to the work, what is it that made you be able to say that you're a graduate, and what is that you were doing in that space, so that at least you can help someone who's doing industrial engineering now and say, okay, what are the things that you were doing in order to make sure that you graduate? Because most of the time, most of people, they get to doing a course, but they don't find a way of actually getting to a point where they actually graduate and they actually drop out. So just advise someone in terms of what were you doing personally to make sure that you end up graduating?
I think the first thing is to understand why you are there. For example, I'm from Mpumalanga, right? And I came to Cape Town. I think it's a personal thing to understand that you've left home, you've left your family, and you are not here just to chill. You are here to study, and that is what you need to do. And I think with me, in my journey of studying such that I went to the graduation stage, I was determined. And so I would work and I'd put in the effort. And I think the other thing that pushed me is that I wanted to make my parents proud. right? Because I'm the firstborn. There's this stereotype that with firstborn, you just have to be an example, pave for the ones behind you.
Sure.
So I knew that in mind, and so I think that's what kept me. And I would push assignments, have study groups in subjects where I was struggling to do them alone. So you have study groups, and I think one of the most important thing is to interact with the lecturers, right? They help you so much that if you don't understand a certain aspect of the course, then approach them because they're the person who know the syllabus and everything. So yeah, it's that. So study and push, and just don't forget that you are there for what purpose you are there. You're not there to be in Cape Town and see the good places and be everywhere every weekend, but be determined and disciplined. Yeah. So I think that's how I got to the graduation stage of things.
That's cool. But I think something that caught my my attention is you said you're a firstborn. Does that come with a lot of pressure for you?
Not for me.
Okay.
It doesn't. I'm so blessed that I have parents that don't put any pressure whatsoever. They understand what I want, and they're like, no, they just go with the flow. So even when I came to Cape Town and I said I'm doing agriculture, like, sure, good. And then I told them media, I was like, no, I'm changing to industry. Like, they were like, my baby, do whatever you want, whatever you want to do with your life. So I don't receive so much pressure from my parents, but I think it's just also, the fact that you want to do something for yourself. Yeah. And then it just so happened that I'm the firstborn. So it's just like, but again, with the stereotype that's there, that firstborn must be. So everything just clicked in. But I don't feel the pressure. It's just I want to do good in life as a person.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that because you said you started. Did you actually start groups, like study groups? Were you the one who was actually?
No.
No, I heard you say that you started. So I thought maybe it was just that character of just being a firstborn, where you feel you just like start doing something yourself.
Not really. It was just like in class, like, we were just like, guys, let's meet up to do this thing up. And maybe I would once in a while be the one, like, let's push for it. But someone also would like, okay, guys, let's do it. So it's just that unplanned, however happens.
No, I thought maybe I was just trying to just get into know you more.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that in terms of helping someone who's going to be coming out of varsity to know that purpose is more important than anything. Just know why you're there and at least be able to navigate, because that helps you in terms of the friends that you're going to be with, the prioritizing school and all those stuff. Thank you so much for that. So you get to work.
Yes.
What section or what industry did you start working at? And then how was that learning like for you?
Yeah. So I started to work, and I'm starting at a manufacturing company.
Okay.
I feel like, for many industrial engineers, manufacturing company is good to start at, because I think it just opens you your mind and how to, try to apply all the stuff that you've learned from school. So also I started a manufacturing company, and it's good in that I'm exposed to many things. The stuff that I learned at school, I'm now putting them into practice, and I'm even exposed to other things that I didn't know, right? And I feel, for me personally, the wealth of industrial engineering that I have was born in that, being in manufacturing, right? I don't want to say that someone who starts in consulting doesn't have, is not an industrial engineer whatsoever. But like for me, I think now that I can go to consulting, because I feel like that manufacturing space made me and exposed me to many things. And so it's easy to go to other avenues as well. So I think, because then I really understood a process from beginning to end, having a product. And I think that's the beautiful thing about manufacturing. You see something from beginning to end. You have a result of something that you can hold, check the quality, check that it was done safely and at the proper time, and it's good. And then it goes out to the customer. I think that's the beauty of it, So I think, that's how I started my career.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. The reason I'm saying it makes sense is looking at consultants. I started with the consulting, and in electrical engineering, you get contractors and you get consultants. So with the contractor, the good thing about it is what you're designing, you're actually working with it hands on. So it's not something which it's not something which is far-fetched. You're actually working with the cables. If you're working with cables, transformers, if you're working with transformers. And that actually allows you to become a better consultant. So I'm sure now you're a very good consultant if you were to get into
I don't know, maybe I should start my consulting company. We'll see.
I think you would do very well.
Is
like
it?
You said. Like you said, because just that the templates and how people get jobs is what makes you kind of like have more experience in that thing. So it's like when we apply after graduating, you just apply everywhere.
Anywhere.
And whatever comes, you take it. And imagine someone who starts in consulting. The learning curve is you learn the consulting side of things. And sometimes it might take longer because you don't actually see the processes and how you just create the design of all the process, but not necessarily having to. Anyways, so you that's your first job, right?
Yes.
I just want you to just explain your career journey and what is it that you learned from the different companies that you work at and up until now.
I think what I have learned is that people are very important in processes, right? Without people, all these processes that we're doing, it will not work. And so I think it's very important that we take care of the people. I've being in the journey, I've realized that in many of the improvements that we had wanted to do did not win because we did not take care of the people that were supposed to implement these things, right? And I feel like this is something that, businesses should invest in, making sure that their employees are well off, and they are at a good state to implement whatever that is being implemented. So I think for me, I've realized that people are important. If we can maybe do things better and take care of our people, our processes and our businesses will boom and do better. So I think, there's many things, but I think that's what stands out for me. People are the very important essence of the business.
The reason I'm smiling or smirking is literally I had a mutual friend, I guess, Jeff. And it looks like industrial engineers, you see the importance of people. And looks like people are very much important because they're the ones who are working the process.
Exactly.
So if you're not linking with anyone or as an industrial engineer, whatever process that you want to make better, it can never be better if the people don't actually understand you. So it's like, I think for those who are actually listening, who are in industrial engineering, if you don't have people's skills, you're in trouble.
That's true. You need people skills.
Sure. No, I was just laughing on that because it seems like it's a theme that's recurring. And I'm seeing that, I might as well just slot in that, hey guys, if you're doing industrial engineering, just remember that people are going to be very much
and just to add on that, so people skills and communication as well, because you're dealing with people of different age groups, backgrounds, so you just have to know how to be able to interact with everybody, because you'd find yourself frustrated, and especially when it comes to improvements, now you are communicating this improvement to this person and they're a bit hesitant and resistant. You have to find a way to bring them down, understand why we are doing this and show them the benefits of that. And, with different people, you communicate with them differently. So I think also communication can be added on that list. I
have a second question just to follow up, but I don't want to lose the track of of your journey. As you're saying that you said people are the most important thing in your realization of when you're doing industrial engineering. I think maybe you can just continue that. I'll just come to my question after that.
So I don't know how you want me to
no, just for you to more or less just explain the different industries that you were in when you're getting into the different jobs, and then just explain how was it like and what you learned out of the different ones.
So then I was in manufacturing as my first job, and the second one again was also manufacturing. But it was different in that the second one was more of a smaller company compared to the previous one. The previous one was a bigger company. And then I moved into the service sector, which is where I'm currently at. And I have to say that being in the service sector is totally different from manufacturing. As I was saying, again, in manufacturing, you see a product from start to finish. Now, in the service sector, it's more like consultation, in a way, if I can put it like that. So, yeah, and I think it was quite, with the transition to manufacturing, from manufacturing to the service sector was quite a bit difficult. Challenging, still trying to find my feet around that. But I think, yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay. So, what is it that you like the most about industrial engineering?
Yeah.
And what is it that you dislike?
I would have to say that what I like is the fact that you get to work in different projects altogether, right? For example, someone is doing, I don't know, I'm just, from what someone is doing finance, they're probably sitting in one thing, focusing on one thing. I don't know, I might be wrong, hey? Okay. But like for me, I think industrial engineering is interesting that you get to work in different projects. For example, if I can go back to the manufacturing where I started, you would work in a project looking at safety, right? From there, you improve a certain process for a specific product, and then you move on to the next product. The next thing you are looking at economics, the people, the employees. So it's like I think the broadness of it, the opportunities and the things that you can do within industrial engineering. So I think that's what I like about it. What is it that I dislike about industrial engineering? I don't think I have. As I say, going back, I feel like industrial engineering was made for me.
Love at first sight.
Yeah, so it's like love throughout even now. I can't think of anything really that I think I dislike about industrial engineering. Yeah.
Okay. I think you might have answered this question, but I will ask it probably in a different way.
Okay.
What makes a good industrial engineer? Like if you were to look back in your whole career or maybe your colleagues, what really makes a very good industrial engineer?
I think the first thing I can say is that being a good listener would make you an industrial engineer because in the working of whatever processes, as I was saying, you have to communicate with many people. Yes. And working with people, you have to be able to have an ear to hear them. And then you'd be able to make decisions from that because then if you not good with listening, then it's tricky or a bit difficult to then work with people and then, be good in your industrial engineering journey. So I think being a good listener and working well with people. And if I were to go into the technical side of things, I'd probably say understanding data, because I believe that data tells you where the business is. And so it makes it easy for you to maneuver as to which direction we have to take. So I think as an industrial engineer, data understanding or data analytics is something very important because it diagnoses where the company is and so knows what treatments we need to put in. So if you are good with that, I think it just gives you that boost as an industrial engineer that you can be anywhere. As I was saying, that you can be in the banking sector. If you're good with data, it makes it so good for you to be in the banking sector and deal with numbers and data and also. So I'd say that for you to be an industrial engineer, technically, so be data, understanding data.
I think you've done a lot of justice for understanding industrial engineering.
Yeah.
I think I might have exhausted all my questions, but I think you did a good job in terms of explaining everything. And I think the thing is sometimes when I listen to the podcast back, I always beat myself up because I forgot to ask a question, which was so important.
I understand,
But that also opens an opportunity to actually have you on the second one.
Okay.
If you're open.
Definitely. Yes. Sure, yeah.
So I think maybe we can close it here. The best, okay. what I usually say is, please give advice to someone who's listening out there.
Yeah.
So that when they get to, I mean, like, you can ask advice in anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be work, but if you want to advise someone out there who's listening, yeah.
I think since we are in work related, I think what I can advise people to do, I think what's important, especially with my experience of how I got the job, is that networking is very important.
Okay.
Right? Don't close off your space to people who, LinkedIn, use it good to your advantage. I believe opportunities can come through such platforms and, connecting to people maybe who are in the same field as you. I think that really helps. So I would say to someone out there, if you are, maybe finished graduating and you're studying in the field, or you have already been there, what's important is networking. Find these industrial engineers, and even if you can go outside of that, maybe to find the electrical engineers network and see what good can come out of that. I think that's what I can say. Networking is very important.
Awesome.
Okay, just also to add is that, after, even though you've done your degree, you've completed, the other most important thing is that, upskill yourself after that.
Okay.
So for example, in industrial engineering, you can look into like maybe getting a certificate in lean or project management just to boost that, or data analysis, go deep into that. Just upskill yourself, especially if then you are in a specific field and you are specializing in something, then upskill yourself in that and be the best that you can be in that field that you're in. So I think that's what I can say.
I love that. You just brought up the Lean Six Sigma and the green belts, blue belts. It's just fascinating stuff. But thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
You just reminded me. It's one of the questions that probably I wanted to ask, but I think you did justice on that.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for honoring the invite.
Thank you.
Looking forward to having you again.
Definitely.
So if I were to listen to this back and I realize that I forgot a question, I will definitely call you back.
Yeah.
And have another one. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I appreciate you taking time and tuning in and be part of our community. We get to share ideas, stories, and perspectives through this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it and found something valuable in it. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your family and friends. I look forward to connecting with you in the next episode. Until then, take care. This is Stega Podcast signing out. See you next time.